All right, let's talk about how soccer games are really won. And believe it or not, a lot of it happens before anyone even kicks the ball. It's not just about who's got the fanciest footwork, it's about a secret language, a set of patterns that the absolute best teams have down to a science. So let's pull back the curtain and see how they do it. I mean, you've seen it 1,000 times, right? You're watching a match, and it's like the players are reading each other's minds. A midfielder plays a pass into what looks like empty grass. And then bam, a forward just magically appears to run onto it. Well, that's not magic, and it's definitely not a coincidence. It's a skill, and it's at the very heart of the modern game. So, what we're talking about here is something called a pattern of play. And really, all that means is it's a pre planned move. It's a series of passes and runs that a team has practiced over and over and over again until it's just pure muscle memory. You'll hear coaches call it an automatism. It's something they can do without even thinking. A great way to think about it is like it's the team's secret language, you know? When everyone on the field is speaking it fluently, the game just slows down for them. They're not just reacting to what's happening, they're actually a step ahead, making these happen. Okay, so what's the point of this whole secret language? What's the goal? Well, 9 times out of 10, it comes down to one single powerful idea: creating an overload. That's the key. You're trying to get more of your players in one spot than the other team as defenders, like a classic 2-on-1. Or you're trying to create an overload of space by attacking an empty area before the defense can get there. But here's the thing. Before we even dive into the cool moves themselves, we've got to talk about timing, because a brilliant pattern at the wrong moment, totally useless. It's all about context. And to get that, we need to understand what are called the 4 moments of the game. See, any soccer match, whether it's the World Cup final or a Sunday league game, is basically just flowing through this never-ending cycle of 4 phases. You've got the ball, so you're attacking. You don't have the ball, so you're defending. Simple enough. But it's the moments in between, the transitions, that's where the real chaos and the real opportunities happen. And trust me, these transitions are where games are decided. Let's look at the positive transition. That split second you win the ball back, that's your golden ticket. The other team is all spread out, they're disorganized, and you can hit them hard and fast. But then there's the flip side, the negative transition, the instant you lose the ball. That's when all the alarm bells should be ringing because your team is at its most exposed. What you do in those first few seconds is just everything. All right, so we've got the when down. Now for the fun part, the what. Let's open up the attacker's toolkit and look at some of the fundamental patterns you absolutely have to know to slice through a defense. First up, let's talk about your first tactical superpower, the give and go. You might call it a 1-2 or a wall pass, but whatever you call it, it is probably the most fundamental and still one of the most deadly combinations in all of soccer. So, why does it work so well? Well, the beauty of it is its simplicity. It's just pure, simple math. You take a tough 1v1 situation, right? And with one little pass and a burst of speed, you've instantly turned it into a 2v1. Suddenly, that poor defender has an impossible choice to make. They just can't guard 2 people at once. Okay, so how do you pull it off perfectly? Step 1, you gotta dribble at the defender. Make them commit to you. Get their eyes locked on you and the ball. Step 2, and this is the most crucial part, you pass and you go. No admiring your pass, no waiting around. The instant the ball leaves your foot, you are sprinting into the space behind them. Then, step 3, your teammate just needs to pop a simple one-touch pass right back into your stride. When you get the timing right, it's just unstoppable. Okay, feeling good about the 1-2? Let's level up. Now we're talking about a more sophisticated idea, the third man run. This is the key that unlocks those really stubborn, organized defenses that just won't give you an inch of space. If you've ever watched a team coached by someone like Pep Guardiola, you've seen this in action probably hundreds of times. So what's the magic here? It's all about deception. See, defenders are coached from day one to watch the ball, and this pattern uses that very instinct against them. While their eyes are glued to the ball moving between player 1 and player 2, they are completely oblivious to player 3, the third man, who's already making a ghosting run from their blind spot. It's such a clever piece of misdirection. So, here's how it plays out. Player A plays the first pass, that's the bait, into player B. This draws the defender in. But the real key, the secret sauce, is that player C, the third man, doesn't wait to see what happens. They start their run while that first pass is still moving. That anticipation is what makes it all work. All player B has to do is act like a wall, bounce the ball with one touch right into the path of player C, who's now bursting into space. That right there is the essence of that legendary tiki-taka football. But hey, it's not all about scoring goals, right? A huge part of the game, maybe the most important part, is what you do when you don't have the ball. The truly great teams are defined by their defense. So let's flip the field and open up the defender's playbook. The absolute number one rule, the foundation for all good defending, is staying compact. It's that simple. You want to shrink the field for the other team. Keep the distances between you and your teammates tight. This clogs up all the dangerous spaces, especially that critical area right in front of your own goal. The whole team has to move together, like a big net sliding across the field, forcing the other team out wide where they can't do as much damage. So you're nice and compact. Now what? How do you actually get the ball back? You can't just have everyone run around like crazy. No, you wait for a trigger. A trigger is a specific cue, a signal that tells the whole team, go. It could be an opponent taking a bad touch, or a player getting the ball with their back to your goal. These are like green lights that tell the entire team to swarm and hunt the ball down as a pack. And this brings us to the golden rule of pressing. It's all or nothing. If one player decides to press, everyone has to go with them. A single player chasing the ball is worse than useless. They'll just get passed around, and now there's a giant hole where they were supposed to be. It's a high-risk, high-reward gamble, and it only works if it's a perfectly coordinated team effort. Okay, so we've looked at some patterns for attack, some for defense. But how do you actually get good at this stuff? How do you take it from just an idea in your head and make it happen out on the field? Well, it really boils down to three things. First, start watching games differently. Watch with a purpose. Don't just follow the ball around like everyone else. Pick one player, say a midfielder, and just watch them for 10 minutes straight. See where they move without the ball. Second, you have to practice. Drill these patterns until you don't even have to think about them anymore. And third, and this is huge, talk to your teammates. If you're all on the same page, you become so much harder to beat. Because when you start to understand these patterns, it completely changes how you watch and play the game. You're not just seeing players and a ball anymore. You start to see the shapes, the angles, the hidden geometry of it all. You're anticipating what could happen next. You're seeing the field not just for what it is, but for what it could be.